Hello and welcome back to another episode of Rich Solar Talk. On today's episode, we're going to be starting a new segment called Customer Questions, where we take questions directly from you and find solutions. A common question we receive is, can you mix and match panels when upgrading a pre-existing system? The short answer, yes. However, you may lose some efficiency from your larger panels. So for today's segment, we're going to show you how to maximize your efficiency with your panels and avoid the common pitfalls while only using one charge controller. Keep in mind, in order to truly maximize the efficiency of your panels, you'll need a separate controller for each type. The most common pitfall is incorrectly wiring your panels, causing a drastic loss in efficiency for your larger panel. In order to know how to correctly wire them, you're going to need to consult the spec sheet for each of your panels. For this demonstration, we'll be using our Mega 100 watt panel, and we'll want to upgrade our system by adding a 250 watt panel. What you're going to want to look for on your spec sheet is the maximum power voltage, or VMP, and the maximum power current, or IMP. As you can see for the Mega 100 watt, the VMP is 18.6 volts and the IMP is 5.38 amps. And on the 250 watt panel, the VMP is 18.9 volts and the IMP is 13.2 amps. Using this information, we can determine whether we want to wire it in series or parallel. But what does series and parallel even mean? When you wire the panels in series, you add together all the voltages of the panels and the amperage drops to the lowest panel in the string. For this example, the 250 watt panel will go from an amperage of 13.2 amps and drop down to 5.38 amps to match the 100 watt panel. As you can see here, due to the drop in amperage, our 250 watt panel is performing closer to a 100 watt panel, which is more than half an efficiency drop. Parallel, on the other hand, adds together the amperages and matches the voltage to the lowest panel. In this case, our 250 watt panel will go from 18.9 volts to 18.6 volts, showing a drop of about 2% watts or 5 watts. Keep in mind that because both of these panels are rated for a 12 volt system, their voltages are relatively similar, making parallel the ideal choice when you only have one controller. This won't always be the case, especially when you're trying to wire a 12 volt panel with a 24 volt panel. For that, you might want to consider wiring it in series. However, getting a separate controller will always be the best solution. So let's go out in the field and see it in action. All right, as you can see here, we have our little setup going on. We currently have it hooked up in series. As you can see, we're getting a total of 14.6 volts and 12.37 amps. Keep in mind that these are about the numbers you're going to be seeing, as with all panels, there is a bit of an efficiency drop regardless of how you have them set up. So as you can see, we're only getting around 180 watts. So now let's see what happens when we hook them up in parallel. Now let's see the change in our values now that it's in parallel. As you can see, we got 15 volts and 18.31 amps. We're getting about 275 watts out of that, which is almost 100 watts more than in series. There you have it. That's how you can maximize efficiency with mix-match panels and a single controller. Keep in mind that this exact setup might not work for every single scenario. So don't forget to consult the spec sheets for each of your panels before wiring them together. And as always, don't hesitate to give us a call or send us an email, and have a solar day.